Welcome to the Downtown Jiu-Jitsu Club podcast. We're here with another episode and joined by my good friends, Mr. Meek in the house, Mr. Protein Poppy,
Yo.
and Mr. Doug, Dougie Fresh. And Mr. Meek, welcome back. You left town. You had a match this weekend.
Indeed.
A little bit of a reunion, I would imagine, right? It's been a while since you've seen some of those guys.
Yeah, it really was. You hadn't seen some of them for several years.
Mm-hmm.
And for a lot of the players, that was the first game that they'd had in quite a while. So, it's cool.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know what we're referring to, if you watched last week's episode, we were talking about Meek's return to the sport of kabaddi, sport he's played professionally for, is it 14 years?
I did 14 seasons.
14 seasons.
But it's been a few years, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So is a season a year, pretty much?
Yeah, there's multiple seasons in 1 year, depending on the country.
Do they have baseball cards of you?
No, I don't think so.
That'd be
Because
cool.
that would be baseball. It's kabaddi. It's a different
kabaddi
sport.
cards.
But yeah, there's like leagues in Australia, New Zealand, Canada. There's multiple leagues in Canada. There's an East and West. And then there's like multiple leagues in India. And so unlike most sports, you're allowed to compete in multiple different leagues at the same time as long as you don't miss dates. So like some people you're, competitors on one day and then your teammates on the next day. It's kind of weird.
Oh, damn.
Is that more popular in Punjab, or is it just, it's an Indian?
There's two types of kabaddi. There's the northern style and the southern style. And the northern style is what I play. That's like the Punjabi style, also called the circle style. And it's the more violent of the two. It's just way more violent.
Mm-hmm.
Like much more violent. The other one is much more light.
Like tackle football, flag football?
Yeah, it's more like gun versus slap, it's pretty extreme. But the international style, or the toned down version, they actually play that in the Asian games. So you get teams from like Japan and Malaysia and stuff, and they play kabaddi. It's on a mat, it's on squares, you wear shoes, and that doesn't have that like rugged one-on-one combat aspect. And so that's actually, it's relatively popular in the southern parts of India. You're talking about 1.4 billion people, so you can have like 1% of the population into something, and it's like millions, right? But in the north, the circle style is biggest in Punjab, but Punjab, I can't remember if we talked about this last week. Like the word punj comes from Farsi, ek do si jar punj. It's just the number 5, and the word ab means water in Farsi or Persian, so it means 5 water. So Punjab refers to 5 rivers that come out of the Himalayan mountains, and 3 of those rivers are in Pakistan. 2 of them are in India. They used to be one region, but 49, the partition, India, Pakistan. So now it's 2 different places in 2 different countries, but it's historically one region. It's a big valley. It supports probably 85% of the food of India, and it's like a farming culture, right? So like if you win the World Cup, they give you a tractor, not because you want it's not about the value of the tractor. It's about the prestige of the farmer. So they have a caste system in India, right? So most of the players come from the farming caste called Jat, and they're like really, like to them that's really like important part of life. Like I'm a farmer, right? But even if they're not a farmer anymore, they consider themselves like the blood of a farmer. And so it's played in the dirt. It's played on something, similar to a farming field adjacent to that, and it's like a farmer's sport. So it has a kind of a complex cultural background contextualizing it that's hard to unwind, especially when you're like, just a novice at India trying to like figure it out, like I was. I mean, when I first learned about it, the term East Indian in Canada refers to Punjabi people mainly, as opposed to West Indian, which is like Trinidad, right? So like East Indian. But if you would have told me when I was young, like before I'd heard about it, like East Indian, I'd think they meant like Apache. Like I didn't have any context of what India was. Like I had Indian food a couple times.
Thought you were going to Indiana?
Yeah, I don't know what was going on. So
Word on the street is they're Trying to recruit the Protein Poppy for
We asked.
next season.
Yeah, we asked. Yeah. So,
Make my debut, kabaddi debut.
yeah, there's a tournament on August 28th, I believe. It's a Saturday. I might have the date wrong, but that weekend on a Saturday in Detroit. And so we're going to try to recruit about 12 jiu-jitsu fighters from the club and see if
We
we
should
can get...
wear rash guards and everything, go in there.
I'm not even... Yeah, seriously.
Oh, that'd be actually pretty sick, honestly.
I'm not even joking. Yeah. So if I asked them yesterday and they said they'll get back to me, because obviously you guys won't be allowed to play in like a professional game. That would be unwise. But if we can get an exhibition with some like locals who are also kind of new to it, maybe some, you know, whoever, just see it. But
Yeah.
I think it'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I got some people in mind. You have to either be like small and athletic or big. But I wouldn't send someone out there if they couldn't handle the rigors. Like it is rough. It's similar to, you know, rugby or something. Like it's high impact. It's you need to be in shape, and it's a lot of fun though.
So field trip, August 28th. Those of you watching,
Covering it live,
if you
maybe.
feel like trying something new, having a little fun, and taking a little risk. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, we are preparing for the event that we have this weekend. A couple of things we're trying to do is open up this weight room here at the Downtown Jiu-Jitsu Club, and also have our next merchandise drop. We have the bandana style shirts coming out, and yeah, we're good to go August 7th. If you've been here in the recent days, if you're going to be here this week, you'll see that we still have a lot of work on our hands here in the back room, but we're focused to get things done by Saturday. And as far as the itinerary for the class schedule on Saturday, what we're going to do is we'll have a 10:30 self-defense class, and that's something we're going to encourage our members of the community to bring a friend. Have them try out a class, check out the school, and it's going to be a free event. So feel free to bring them by. If you want to give us a heads up beforehand, that would be great. That just help us better prepare. But it's going to be a good time. So we'll have a 10:30 self-defense class, followed by 11:30 no-gi training. We're also going to run a 10:30 fitness style class. That's going to be going at the same time as that self-defense class. Self-defense in the front, fitness class in the back. The fitness class is going to be, I think, limited roughly between anywhere like 14 to 20 people. That should be on our schedule by the end of the day tomorrow. So just keep an eye out for that, and it's going to be limited with how many people can attend. So just if you got the app, be one of the first ones to register if you're interested in coming to it. If you don't have the app, get the app. Downtown Jiu-Jitsu Club, iPhone, Google phone. The biggest issue we've had is people just misspelling jiu-jitsu. So just make sure you check the spelling, get the app, and stay in contact with us. And yeah, as far as house notes, that's pretty much it. That's where all our focus is going for the most part. I'm sure there's things where I'm forgetting. But yeah, Saturday. How about you guys? Is there anything that we need to discuss, get out to the community?
The raffle. Anybody that bought 2 pieces from the last drop, I said that you would be eligible for this one, and you are. So you're going to be in the raffle for this one. It's still a mystery of what the prize is going to be. But if you bought 2 pieces of merchandise last time, you're eligible for this one, and then we'll figure out what makes you eligible for the next one within the next coming days. We'll announce it probably next week.
So what's the prize for? I saw you had a really nice bag.
Oh, it's nice.
And,
You weren't supposed to say that.
oh, okay. My bad. Yeah, you got to come to the
I
event.
think we're not live, though.
Yeah.
So it's fine if they know that. Yeah, so a really nice bag, and then whatever other goodies I decide to put in there.
You could beep that out.
Yeah, no, but I mean,
Really nice.
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, Doug, he goes over and above with these gift bags. You know, so the last one, I think Ethan won that one.
Mm-hmm.
The box itself was like a $100 box. Or something
Yeah,
like that.
it was a luxury box. Shout out Madavar Box Company, luxury box company, and then there was a 10-pound chocolate bar with a golden ticket to a Hoist Gracie seminar,
That was
VIP
nice.
ticket. There was also an Amazon Echo, which is like a music player and like kind of like, it's like, hey Alexa, those things. There was specific sports towels that were just very like cool towels. I actually forgot. There was a few other things.
Man,
though.
that shaker, there was a shaker in
Oh,
there.
yeah,
in
there was a shaker
It was a
in there.
glass, right?
Yeah, it was a glass Nike shaker. That was pretty nice.
Yeah, these bags, these raffles are legit. You know, we're not going to be passing gifts between staff members like, oh, George, you won this week.
And there was a gi.
next week.
There was a gi in every piece of merchandise from that drop.
Man,
So
that is
altogether,
sweet.
it was probably like if I didn't do the math, but I would guess like $600 to $700 worth of stuff in there.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, if you want to partake in that, make sure to come out, support, and we're going to figure out those terms. We have to figure out the details. But long story short, you come, have a good time, and any merch that's purchased is going to position you for that, potentially win that raffle. The more how's it work? Typically, the more dollars people spend, the more the higher the odds they're going to win.
Yeah.
We're deciding for that. We have to figure out the. I like that idea, but we have to figure that out. But for the last one, it was basically I like to tie it in with training too. So to be eligible for the first one, it was you just had to train. It was the top 10 people who trained the most that month. And I didn't tell anybody. I just tracked it, and I just put their names in a raffle. And then for the next one was either it was 15 classes and above, and then you had to buy 2 pieces of merchandise. That was it. So I like to tie it in, so people they know that them being consistent also leads to rewards as well.
And that's you're doing that through our software, right? Through our CRM software.
Yeah.
And that's something. Those of you who've been active, I'm sure you've heard this before. Basically, the school is running under a new software. During the pandemic, we switched softwares, and we're super excited about this software. It gives us so much more capabilities than we've had before. One of those is this rewards program that Doug was just referring to. We can track those things a lot more efficiently through this new software. But it comes with a learning curve, and we definitely need to improve on our end, all things software related. So, for example, one of the cool features of this software is when you're booking your classes online, you know who's teaching. And over the last, since the inception of the softwares, there's been classes where you would assume I'm teaching, or you show up and it's someone else, or vice versa. So that's something that we're going to do a better job of as a staff, just making sure that is more and more accurate. When you come into the school, you now have a barcode scanner that you can use your app to open up your barcode that you just scan, click, and you're in for class. Again, it's not good enough to just book for your class. When you show up, you have to confirm that you actually made it, and you do so with the barcode scanner or typing your name, but that's super important.
One more thing, that's for every class too.
Every
as a
single
reminder.
class.
So if you're here for the first class and you signed in, you got to make sure you're signing in to the second one as well, if you're staying for both.
So a good example of that.
One more thing.
Uh-huh.
They also, if say you're taking class, there's like a time window on the signing in part. So if you're just like, oh, I'll sign in after I take 2 classes, the window's gone. So then you don't you'd have to go to one of us, and then we could punch it in manually. But if you want to do it yourself, you have to do it within 15 or 30 minutes before the class. Yeah.
And as far as this is a common thing for the people that have a lot of no-shows, but they say that they came in, that could be part of the reason as well. Just forgetting, or maybe not making that time of the window.
Yeah.
So for all the people that have the no-shows, if you guys want to come up to me or Doug, just make a list with all the times that you guys know you were there. We'll help you out with that too.
Yeah, that's been one of the issues we've been working through. If it says no show on your account, yeah, right. This is just part of the learning curve. But we're going in a direction where eventually those no shows would mean something. If someone is consistently enrolling in the class and not showing up, it can be a problem we have to address. But if that's the case, up until now, don't worry about it. If you're worried about getting credits for your attendance, like Doug said, hit up Doug, or I'm sorry, like George said, hit up George or Doug, and we'll get those things squared away. And yeah, what else? Software related. Example, we just added 6:30 a.m. training on Tuesdays and Fridays, followed by a 7:15 randori. So ideally, if you're going to stay for both, enroll for both, and just to make sure that there's space. If you are going to do the first session, stay for the second, but you don't let us know through the software, there's just a chance of classes being overcrowded. So again, that's something that we're trying to do here at Downtown Jitsu Club, give you a more smaller community. We want to keep classes smaller. I think right now 20 is the max for the majority of the classes. So yeah, just be on top of it. If you have any issues, talk to us. There most likely are issues we have to figure out. So, but yeah, overall, we're super excited. I know I am, for this new software. It makes things a lot more flexible for us, and yeah.
I feel like we should talk more about the shirts, the merch, like different colors. Like I know we'll be posting more videos throughout this week that'll show them off, but
these ones are nice. We stepped up the game.
Yeah, I don't think we gave enough love to them so far.
Yeah, I felt a little bit that the fact that they're long sleeves, and
In the summer.
yeah, especially they were supposed to come out even like I think now the summer's kind of fading away.
No.
We're slowly.
August is prime summer. People sleep on August.
Yeah, and September a little bit.
September a little bit. When does it officially end? The
I think
summer
September
season.
21st.
Okay.
Like September is like official first day of fall, so sometime in there.
Yeah, I thought initially because they're long sleeve it might be an issue, but I mean we live in Chicago and it's the
There's
weather
days
here
like-
is very strange.
Today there's like a good day, it's like 70 something. It's
Yeah.
like you want to wear a long sleeve, you can chill with it, roll your sleeves up, you'll be fine.
Yeah, and there's also a chance. I don't know if I talked to you guys about this yet, but there's a pretty good likelihood we're going to have more merch than we expected. Well, I should talk to you guys before I announce the news. But yeah, just make sure you're here on Saturday. We're gonna do our best to give you a good experience, and
we discussed it, right? We're doing we're selling a set amount on that day, and then the rest will just be online. So,
yeah,
I like that idea.
yeah, we're finally gonna have the online shop relaunched, and for those of you who are watching, you're not in the Chicagoland area, you can't make it here. We're gonna definitely, God willing, have everything available online as well. It's just a matter of supply and demand. For this order, we're definitely going to have the bulk of it on site, I would imagine, but we should have some online. If you're on the fence, if you live in Chicago, just make it here to be, more likely that you're going to have this available. And yeah, I'm looking forward to it. More and more people are coming back now, and hopefully we'll see some more familiar faces at the merch shop this weekend.
Yeah, a lot of people are I hope to get lucky, because a lot of people slept on the last ones. Like the shorts, not enough. Or the rash guards too. There's some people like, yo, we got rash guards left. I'm like, no,
People
sorry.
still ask me. Just the other day, someone was like, "Oh, do you have like a?" I saw him wearing it like with the black with the rash guards we sold last time. I was like, "No, we sold out of those first day, man. Come on, gotta make it to the event."
Yeah, and we don't have any rash guards actually.
No.
None.
I wish those rash guards were like regular shirts, because I would totally wear it out to public. But I don't want to look like John Danaher wearing rash guards to a fancy place.
Yeah, I mean it's very it's a dynamic clothing piece, right? If it's hot or cold, rash guard is could be cool in the heat, and it can be warm as well. It can trap it's interesting, right? I'll put a rash guard under my sweater if I'm riding the bike or
almost like a
outside.
thermal.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I'm super excited. This weight room has been a long time coming, and the guys have been very patient, and we're almost there. We're almost there. And
Sure. We should talk about there's like 4 different styles of the merchandise too, right? The colorways. Just want to go into it a little bit.
yeah, we
to the
started
design.
with white and green. So the what me and George have on right now, green with white lettering. We have the same white with green lettering, and we're also going to have black and white, white and black. So 4 total different color schemes of the shirt, and
Oh, you know how I know these are fire? Because I was wearing one of the shirts out with my friends, and then the whole time I got at least like 3-4 compliments from random people like, "Yo, that's a sick shirt, it's a sick shirt."
Oh, very
And like
cool.
from the back, they didn't know what it was, but if you get compliments like that randomly, then I know, and it's a good shirt.
yeah, I think it's a pretty cool piece.
What was your design like inspiration? Like what was like, how'd you come up with it?
I think I think the bandana has been a big part of the last a year or 2, right? It seems like that people started wearing bandanas on their face for the face masks. There's something about the Old English lettering that I really like. A friend of mine my friend Mark, who lives in LA, he was when we were having discussions on branding and all things creative. He was the one who was pushing me to get some Old English. I think because initially with the Downtown Jiu-Jitsu Club, the one of the first concepts that was put together was a skyline, and then he was advising me like, "Nah, don't go in that direction," and he was really big on the Old English. Eventually, we settled on the eagle, the bird, and
That was badass.
but I think I'm going to break some branding principles and just go all over the place with this, because this is not a standard jiu-jitsu school. We're going to try to make the merch kind of at the forefront of the brand. So yeah, that's probably where most of it came from. And then my good friend Meek has the yin yang as his logo.
Meek, when's the merch coming out? I'm waiting, man.
So I stole that and I put it in the back on the bandana. There's some yin yang in
Yeah, I
there.
saw it.
That's my favorite symbol.
It's a beautiful symbol.
Yeah,
Not
it's
just
amazing.
in its, what it looks like. It looks cool, but what it means is amazing.
Yeah.
And you see it so much in nature. I
Is
think there's
it
real
a
truth
lot
to it.
where it's like the good and the bad and the good, and then, you know what I'm saying? Have you heard about
I
that?
do not know what you're saying.
So it's like the white, the little white dot and the black. That's the white. That's the good and the bad, and then the little black dot and the white. That's the bad and the good. And like
and
everything's
it doesn't just have to
perfectly
be good
balanced.
and bad. And you could look at it as the male or female principles, because even the most masculine man has an aspect to him that is feminine, and the most feminine woman will have an aspect to her that is masculine. And so the yin exists in the yang, and the yang exists in the yin. So it's not just whatever polarities you come up with, you'll always find that there's some type of paradox behind it, where it's like you're not really looking at two opposites, you're looking at harmony. And then you see, you're like, I'm looking at the same thing from different perspectives.
Yeah, I like when you talk about it in the context of like training,
Yeah.
like
yeah.
the hard training, and then like the soft training, and you get the balance. Like,
Yeah, you find it in so many. I mean, the Chinese had a brilliant civilization. Like, you have to give it to them. They have concepts and philosophies and ideas and lessons in their civilization, in their culture. Not necessarily like the contemporary expression of their polity, but like when you look at the last, 2,000-3,000 years of their civilization, they have ideas in there that are very enriching, and that's part of the longevity. You want to learn something profound, look at a people that have been around for a few thousand years.
Yeah, this, I think of balance. That comes to mind when I see that, that the balance. And
Balance is underrated. A lot of people
Yeah.
want to, they say, I want to be happy. It's like, yeah, well, be careful what you wish for. You might be happy in balance to a great sadness. It's because we have these terms like happiness or euphoria, and we don't define them well. So somebody might mean one thing when they say happy, and somebody else might mean something else. Some people say happy, and they're referring to outward pleasure. Like, I want to feel immediately elated. I want to feel good right now. And those type of feelings, they're not necessarily bad, but they often have a balance that comes with them. The more extreme example is someone who's like bipolar. They're like super high, super low, super high, super low. That's a rough way to live. I would definitely prefer balance, harmony, where you're not going super high and you're not going super low. You're more like centered, so that the spinning of that wheel of time doesn't take you on the ride with all that centrifugal force. You're in the middle. You're in the center, balanced. Because that's how the world is, right? Everything's come and go, day and night, easy and hard, right? Imam Ali said there's only two types of days: the ones for you and the ones against. And it's just like it feels like that. And that's what was so beautiful about training. You notice those little, like what Gordon Ryan said. He's like, there's offensive cycles and defensive cycles. It's like it's either going for you or going against you. You're either like, I'm making progress, I'm about to choke this person, or it's like they're making progress, they're about to choke me. And there's something very deeply true about that you can experience and find not just in jiu-jitsu, but jiu-jitsu is like analogous to the other aspects of life. And so the more balanced you are, right, the more not just happy, it's kind of superficial, balanced, at peace with yourself, then those cycles come and you're not like taken on some wild ride.
You just kind of deal with it.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the poor guys, like 2008 stock market crash, they're jumping off buildings. They couldn't handle the ride. Right? Things were going good, they're partying, everything's going good. Then as soon as it got bad, they couldn't handle it. And so I'd rather be in harmony, where it's like, yeah, it goes good, and I'm like, that's good, but I'm not just letting it take me away. And so when it gets bad, it doesn't also take me away.
Is that also training the mind to be indifferent about like that, like the good days where you're really high, or like the bad days where you're super low? Like training the mind, you're just...
Indifferent might not be the right word, but it's closer to the truth than not.
Where you're not
It's
like straight away from your path because of something went good or something went too bad.
Yeah, you want to be balanced. At least I do. I don't want to... I mean, obviously, when something that we perceive as good happens to us, we're like pleased about it. But you also want to recognize that sometimes the things that you desire and you think are good end up being bad for you. And sometimes, when something happens to you and it's bad, you perceive it as bad, you experience it as bad, and you avoid it and you don't enjoy it. But sometimes that bad experience ends up being good for you. And this is, to go back to jiu-jitsu, why it's such a beautiful life practice, is because you'll learn that through training. You're like, oh, push-ups hurt, and they make me better. Getting tapped out is humiliating, and it made me better. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, sugary drinks, tasty, made me worse.
Never too hot, never too cold. That's another way of
you want to be
describing it,
balanced,
right?
man. You want to be balanced. And it's not saying like, oh, we don't experience happiness or sadness, but if you really have like an inner balance, and it's about knowing yourself, being comfortable with who you really are, getting rid of the illusions of who you think you should be, or how people perceive you, because we all have that inner turmoil, trying not to like be taken advantage of in a rough world. So it's an inner process, it's an outer process. But yeah, I think balance is a beautiful thing to inculcate in the heart. And that's going back to that yin and yang symbol. There's something it's almost like a talisman. Like you see that and you recognize what it means, even if someone doesn't explain it to you. You're like, oh, that is a balanced shape. It's very beautiful.
You a lot of people say that about knowing yourself. Like how do you get to know yourself?
How do you get to know yourself?
You do hard
a
things.
lot of people are like, yo, you know, I'm aware of myself. I know myself, or that person doesn't know himself, and a lot of
Doug proposes doing hard things. So let's examine that. If you do hard things, you do challenge yourself, right? And you put yourself at the edge.
I mean, like, if things are bad, you're on the, say you go have a great vacation, you're just absolutely ecstatic the entire week, and then you come home and you have the hard down. What's a challenging thing? Is it all, like, kind of feed back into it? Go drink, go do this, go bury yourself in substances? Or sometimes the hard thing is sitting at home and going, what did I do wrong? Why am I feeling this way? And sitting in it and thinking. And maybe sometimes the hard thing is going and asking for help. Hey, can I talk to you something about this specifically, instead of just keeping it to yourself and going to another party and drinking one more beverage? The hard thing is looking at it, facing it. I'm not saying just like jiu-jitsu, train, beat David Goggins, run 15 miles. I'm saying sometimes it's just sitting and being with yourself.
True. But you could also argue that they overlap. The outward difficulty can lend itself to the inward difficulty. You know, when you can do those outwardly hard things, training hard, right? Fasting, pushing yourself when you're tired, getting up early and being a punctual person. Like, they're outwardly things, but they fortify the soul so that when you have to do the hard work on the inside, it doesn't necessitate success, but it does facilitate it. It does kind of help you. It's like, oh, I've struggled outwardly, and now I have to, like, be honest with someone, and it's gonna really be difficult, but it kind of helps you get there. You know, definitely there's a correlation between outward struggle and the ability to struggle inwardly against your own vice, against your own weakness, and we all have that.
I feel like a good tool is the ice bath.
Yeah, the ice bath takes all prisoners.
Nothing else. Nothing I want to do less than going to an ice bath for 10 minutes. But after you go in, you're like, oh, that's...
The shower gets me worse than the bath.
Really?
There's something about the shower, like, they're both, you know, just the suck, right? You're like, that place over there, that's the suck. We're going to go there. Ice baths somehow are less mentally, like, terrifying to me than the cold shower, like a really cold shower. And the showers here in the Midwest don't get as cold as they do in the West Coast.
That's what I was gonna
like,
say.
You have, like, warmer, cold water.
Yeah.
Because they don't cool the water, right? They heat the water, and then the temperature of the water is the cold water. So for when you're in, like, you know, the South or whatever, when you're in a warm country, like, there's, like, lukewarm water and hot water. On the West Coast, especially in, like, Seattle, Portland, the water is super cold.
Yeah.
It's super cold groundwater. And so, you know, like, the shower, it hits you heavy. But
Do you think it's because the shower, like, is supposed to feel warm and toasty, and, like, you're supposed to, you know, you think of a shower, I'm going to take a warm shower, it's going to feel great.
you know what's funny about showers?
But you just ruin the
Like,
experience for yourself.
We take showers for granted. A warm shower is one of the most luxurious, modern, like, amazing things ever. I bet few kings from the days of, you know, antiquity had ever experienced anything as amazing as a warm shower. Like, they were sitting there, like, head of the army, you know, with their, you know, gold bespeckled on their, you know, jewelry and all this silk robes and stuff, but they never had a hot shower in their life.
Warm shower.
They probably thought it was bad luck.
You know,
They're going to die from a shower.
where you can get that? I mean, they did have something similar to that. Like, the Ottomans had that. They had a way to, like, heat and distribute hot water, and so did the Romans. Like, the public bath, so did the Andalusians. So
They had,
it
like,
did exist.
bathhouses back then, right?
Yeah,
Like,
but it was like that was like moments in history. It wasn't normal for people to have that access to flowing warm water. Like, that's just so ballin'. It's
Still, there's pockets around the world still don't have it.
pockets. Probably the majority, man.
Yeah.
Most people live in just abject poverty, and we're very well insulated from it, like, even psychologically. But when you see a lot of the world, it's mind-boggling to see how some people are living day to day. Mind-boggling.
Have you seen those guys? I forget exactly where they're from, but they just, like, dig.
Oh, the Filipino dudes?
Yeah, the Filipino dudes.
Yo, yeah. You seen them?
At 3 a.m.
Yo,
It's just YouTube recommended, and they're just digging into the ground, like, these beautiful pools, and they just flow like warm
There's a
water.
few channels like that.
They make time lapses of themselves, like
Yeah.
building like enormous structures just from like digging in the sand.
Yeah, there's a few channels like
incredible.
that. They're not all in the same place. They're not just Filipinos. There's a few.
No, but the two that I like, it's the two
They make
like
pools,
friends, right? George, the one
right?
you
Yeah,
saw.
And like it's like
yeah.
primitive tools and stuff.
Yeah.
But it looks so nice. I'm like, wow, like it looks
Yeah.
better than some places here.
It's I'm a hater though, right? So I look at it, I'm like, yeah, that's really cool, but where's your deep end, right? Like you can't dive in. Like they make these little pools. I'm like, dude, I'm 6 feet tall. I'd make a mess out of that pool.
Hey, brother,
That's a
like,
puddle.
They're like 5'3" over there.
They fit in those pools like perfect. I was like, it's too small for me. I can't get in the kids' pool.
There's another famous dude like that cooks in a big like wok. And like he goes around like wherever he's at, he goes around just picks things and just throws them in there. That's another famous channel as well.
I haven't seen that. That
Similar
sounds cool.
to that,
though.
where yeah, he just
There's some. That's one thing I really like about like I have criticisms, obviously, but whatever. The criticisms are what they are. But the democratization of video content has exposed parts of the world that I just didn't know about. There are some things that I've seen on the internet that are just amazing. You know, like the primitive guys
Yeah.
making, and that's the name of the channel. There's another one called
Oh,
like
that's the name.
Primitive, like structures, and it's like some dude basically recreating the Stone Age, right? He's just out there like making huts and stuff, and he
Oh,
films it. And
those
the
are so
original
cool,
one
yeah.
was Strauss. What was his first name? Les? Was it Les or Leo? I think it was Les Strauss, but I could be making it. He called himself Survivor Man. He was Canadian.
Mm-hmm.
This guy used to go into the woods and survive for like 1 or 2 weeks. He would film everything himself. He didn't have a camera crew, and he would take like a knife.
I think I saw
That
He
was a
wouldn't
TV
take.
show?
He would not
Yeah,
take.
that was a TV
Yeah, it was a
show,
TV
right?
show. It was like kind of like
British guy, right?
No, he's Canadian. No, you're thinking of Bear
Bear
Grylls.
Grylls, yeah.
This guy's way hardcore. Bear has
Yeah.
has support. He's got like help.
that dude
He
just
could-
has a camera, does it
This guy
himself, right?
is just a camera. He gets dropped off, and they like pick him up, and he either lives or dies. Right? Like I
Yeah.
don't think he does it anymore, but it was incredible to see him, out there, like looking for food. He ate a rattlesnake. Like it was nasty, but it was pretty cool.
He was decent at like setting up the camera shots too. Like
Yeah, yeah.
He'd throw a tripod up and like
Because you could
know,
tell, it was like,
angles.
wait a minute, this guy like set up, a tripod, walked across a field, and then like went back to his camera.
Like
and
he had artistic in it, yeah. Like
it was pretty cool.
Like
He
he's
did a good job.
surviving, but also like I gotta get
And
this angle.
before him, the real OG in that is Dale Pernicke. I'm probably saying his name wrong. Like it's either Pernicke or Penecony. It's like a very difficult name to get. But he went into Alaska, similarly with his own camera gear, no backup, and he packed in like the chisels and the metal parts, but then he made all the handles. And so he like recreated his tool shed up in the wilderness of Alaska, and he builds a cabin. You ever seen this guy? This is amazing. I don't know it's just Dale Pernicke or whatever his name is, and he like builds a log cabin from scratch and lives out in the woods. It's like from the 70s. I remember I used to see this when I was a kid, and it was old footage even back then, right? It was like super old footage, and he's like kind of explaining in this. It sounds like an old-timey mountain accent. You know how sort of the generational American English keeps changing. And he had this, old-timey way to explain it, but it was super cool. This guy built a log cabin from scratch and lived in the Alaskan wilderness for like months at a time, and journaled, and it was like it's really
Have you ever
cool.
tried to build something when you don't have the right tool? It's you end up taking twice the time, 3 times the time. Who knows? It's
that's when you get the most creative. I feel like just like, man, well, how can I get this done?
Cooking is like that.
Yeah,
You're like, dude,
got
I could make this
paprika.
so well if I just had a food processor right now, and you don't have one. You're just,
trying to hammer something with like a screwdriver. Yeah. It's interesting, right? How one invention can change the world sometimes, right?
Tools are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Tools are amazing.
Is that how Space Odyssey, the movie, is about? Where like somebody gave him a tool for the monkeys, and then like next thing you know, the next scene is like them evolving. Did you guys see that movie?
No, but
No. I know the image that you're talking about. There's like a black stone, right?
Yeah, like the
And he
monolith.
touches the black stone, and it's supposed to be some kind of metaphor, but
I
I
haven't seen
can't.
the movie myself, but I saw the scene, And basically, like, they introduced a tool to the monkeys, and then in the next scene, they evolved. And, like, they evolved more, and they started killing each other with the tools. And they keep evolving more, and I think, I forgot the end of it, but I think they came to, like, civilization eventually.
Jiu-jitsu moves are tools.
It's like that. Have you
I've
guys
seen
seen
it straight up. Like when you're trying to solve a problem and you don't have the right tools, you're like, I'm serious.
I've held
It's
things in
like-
real life with, like, a good
And that's how
kimura
you
grip.
need you need all the tools, and so you're like trying to collect these tools. Because if you have enough tools, you might not be able to overpower someone, but you can kind of fix the problems.
Get the job done.
Yeah, you can get the job done, but if you don't have enough tools, you'll be like sitting there trying to, I got a hammer. It's like we need a screwdriver. I got a hammer.
He's got my hammer.
He's always just everything's a hammer, right?
Have you guys seen the movie Arrival?
Yeah.
Where I think you could
Yeah.
expand on this. I'm just gonna set you up for it. The aliens come just to teach the humans their language, and once
alien language or the
yeah,
human
and
language?
the aliens teach the humans their alien language.
Oh, okay.
And once you understand the language, you have a deeper understanding of time, and you see life through a different lens. And they remind me of when you talk about people speaking different languages and how different cultures have what was the one example that you used the other day? Spanish people are great at poetry and arts and things like this.
Yeah, we
and
were
then-
talking about that. That was not in this podcast. I was just chilling.
Yeah, we were just chatting.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, and you have to have maybe a philology approach
What's
to even
that?
start making comparative language as opposed to linguistics. They don't do this anymore in academia. You used to be able to get a degree in philology, and it was like
What is
learn
philology?
Greek, learn Latin, learn Arabic, learn the different Romance languages, learn Chinese, and then after you had a very broad spectrum of language knowledge, you could do comparison and start looking into the roots and etymology and things like that. And now they just don't do it. It's not done anymore. There's still a few philologists out there. I'd say Alexander Argüelles is probably one of them. This guy speaks 31 languages. He's quite brilliant. I really like his autodidactic language methodologies. He invented a couple really strange techniques for teaching yourself language. He does this thing called shadowing, where he let's say he has an audio something in a target language playing, and then it says whatever, it'll be como estás, but he shadows it, almost like you were being annoying. If you were talking,
I do that.
I do that.
Como
Como estás?
estás?
I would just like a kid who's
Yeah.
bothering, they're just repeating everything you say, but you do that to an audio thing.
Yeah.
And that while you're walking, that's the weirdest part. So he
Oh, so you're
walks
active.
and listens and then repeats everything that he hears, and it's a strange technique. So you just see him walking around ni hao, just talking, but he speaks 30 languages, so it must work,
funny.
right?
30?
Yo, I've seen the videos. This, you can't fake it.
Wow.
This guy,
That technique works though.
you can't
'cause-
fake speaking Dutch that well. His Dutch was good, his Arabic was pretty decent, his German is very good, his French is good.
Dutch is interesting, right? They from my experiences, it seems like everybody I encountered when I was there, they speak English, but they also have their own. They have Dutch.
Yeah, it'll throw you off
And
because
it's
you're you speak
completely
English
different.
English so well that you think that they don't have another language.
Yeah.
Sometimes Sweden's can be like that as well, but
Yeah.
Dutch is about. It's not the most similar language to English, but it's the second most that's actively used. There might be one that I'm not aware of. The most similar language to English is called Frisian. Where the Frisian cow comes from, the black and white one, or the Frisian horse, Friesland, and it's just very similar to English. It's still probably more similar to Dutch than it is to English, but in the genetics of our language,
It's a beautiful country, right?
it's
I remember
awesome.
growing up, I would always. It seemed like people would associate Amsterdam with it's a party city, etc. But it's actually
That's one tiny area of the city, and the rest of the city is very nice and functional. And
But even just from a historic, let's say it's got so much history. That particular city, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's where modern, was it the stock market was
Yeah.
developed, and there's so much engineering there too, right? Because the water, the city was kind of.
Yeah, it's about a meter below sea level. And so there is a very complex system of dikes and dams, and they block the water. It's really cool. I like Holland a lot, and the Netherlands. It's beautiful.
They have a lot of bike communities.
Yeah,
there, right?
yeah.
Like,
You don't need a
huge.
car.
That's awesome.
You can straight up just live with a bicycle.
That's so cool.
when I
Yeah,
was
the
there,
cars are actually a horrible idea, I think.
Well, sometimes you need it if you're going
If
from
you're in
city
Amsterdam?
to city. Yeah, it depends on where you're going. It depends. It's very often the case. Like I remember when I was there, last for an extended period. It took me 50 minutes to ride my bike, and it would take like 45 minutes to drive. So I was like, there's no purpose. Because then, 45 minutes to drive, and then probably another 10 minutes to figure out how you're going to park. So I just ride my bike to the gym. And, when I was there, even the longer period, I just rode my bike to work every day. It was wonderful.
Yeah, I almost backed into the dam, and thank God I didn't. But it was like 40 euros a day, 50 euros for parking. It's very hard to find parking. And then, like you were saying, the bikes are everywhere. And the city, it seems like the roads are for the bikers, and the cars are like second-class citizens.
Yes, literally,
Nice.
that's the law. The bikes have the right of way. So the bike has the right of way over the pedestrian and the car. So if you hit a bike, the bike's always right, just legally.
Is that the only place that has that system where it's like their main priority is
I don't
bikes?
know about I haven't lived in other countries with advanced bike infrastructure. I
I
just
think
visited
Japan
them.
has that.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite cities, and I'm not sure if I can go back. I think I'm a criminal there. Last time I went, I landed in the airport, and the Interpol guys basically reminded me of some speeding tickets that I had there. I was driving from Germany to Amsterdam, and the roads were, oh man, it looked like you're driving in a coloring book, like just how beautiful the countryside is. The roads are immaculate. They're perfect, so smooth.
Nice.
And then, growing up, you hear things about, Autobahn, there's no speed limit. That is not true. Maybe for some parts, but
there is a speed limit.
yeah, and
You
it's
have to be careful.
pretty.
There are parts of it where there is no speed limit, and there's still a recommendation speed limit, and the speed limit can turn on if it rains or if there's like an accident. So there's an electronic interface, and it's like optional or mandatory, and it changes depending on weather. But there are times and places where you really can open up and go like,
fast.
300 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
And it's like, it's okay. So you got to be careful, because sometimes if you're in the right lane, someone on the left might pass you at a speed that'll like kind of, like the wind will shake your car. And so you got to be careful. But driving tests out there are much harder. They have more stringent
You
regulations.
just need real skill to drive over there.
Yeah, you actually have to learn how to drive, basically, because our tests are kind of, they're pretty lax.
Like take a right turn.
Right?
All
You
right.
like pass this
Congrats.
test that it's like take 1 hour to study for, and then you parallel park.
Yeah, they have the speed cameras were like
over.
very discreet. There was no signs. So yeah, then I started getting mail with in Dutch. American, I expect you write me in English, But I started getting these Dutch letters, and I kind of knew what they were, But I wanted to lie to myself and just pretend, I don't know what this is.
Can't read Dutch.
Yeah, so then I get that surprise, go to the airport, and they said I can't enter the country because I had, I think, 2 speeding tickets, and they double and triple, and they just get into the point where I owed them thousands of euros, and
You just fly to France and drive. No border.
yeah, I might have to do that next time. But yeah, that's my criminal activity in Europe. Yeah, but beautiful country. I got a call from Armand yesterday. He is there now, training with my good friends at Hicks and Gracie Academy with Professor Raul. Really cool guys. Honestly, that is one of my favorite places to go. And in large part because of the people.
That's the first place I put on a jiu-jitsu gi as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, with
You were
Remco.
training at Mike's gym. There,
I was
right?
at Mike's gym. It's probably the top kickboxing location in Holland. But you have to keep in mind, there's at least 10 world-class kickboxing gyms just in Amsterdam. Forget like Den Haag and other places. Just Amsterdam.
And
There's at
that's
least
by
10.
far number one for striking, right?
Kickboxing, yeah. Not for Muay Thai. They're very, very, very similar, but there are some distinctions. But for just pure kickboxing, yeah, like the Netherlands is easily number one. But yeah, I remember Remco was my first jiu-jitsu coach, right? So he fought in, I want to say UFC number 1, like the original one. You know, it was like, hey, I want to fight, like, you know, some stuff back in the 90s, and he was like,
He's a big boy.
yeah, he was he was really good in judo.
He
was
knocked. Didn't he elbow somebody?
yeah,
to,
I think that guy's
really,
name was Weir.
Muay Thai guy, right?
Yeah, his last name was Weir. It was like I'm forgetting his first name, but it was something Weir. And he like takes him down in some type of like head and arm, and they just sit there for about 30 seconds, and then he figures out he can elbow him. And he just knocks him out with the most brutal elbows. But yeah, Remco Pardoel, he was a fantastic jiu-jitsu coach. Because after, like, he's a black belt in jiu-jitsu at that time. Then he like loses to Hoist Gracie in the semifinals.
It's
and
judo though, right? Is it
Judo. Then he became
Yeah.
a jiu-jitsu black belt. Started.
Yeah, he was one of the first foreigners to
Yeah.
compete in the world
Yeah,
championships.
Absolutely, he was.
Mr.
Yeah.
Ebro in the house.
Yo,
What up?
All right.
what
Sorry.
up, guys?
You don't have a camera angle, but they could hear you.
Right on time.
All right.
What's going on?
Not much. We're just talking about some criminal activity in Europe. And
I thought this was a jiu-jitsu podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
yeah, we're talking about how we broke Meek out and brought him here.
Hell yeah.
You know, though, like the jails don't sound so bad over there.
I hear they're actually pretty nice.
Compared, I'm like they're definitely, but we have like the worst. Not the worst. But okay, we have not nice jails though.
Then we go to
They're
South America. You probably got
there's some
some.
more stuff. Okay,
Yeah.
What they say about like,
Midnight Express.
Some-
I've seen that movie.
some jails in like Europe is that they're actually for reform and not just punishment.
I remember when I was in Iceland,
He's like,
I needed a charger, right? Because you know you got American plugs and European plugs. I needed a charger for my Apple, and I'm at like this what do they call it? The Salvation Army, right? And I'm just hanging out with some random people because
They have a Salvation Army in Greenland?
it was Iceland.
Iceland.
I don't never been to Greenland. Very different, but Iceland is it's a nice place.
Yeah, same thing.
And there's a lot of international students there learning, what do you call that stuff? Geothermal engineering. Because volcanoes, so like that's like the geothermal education hub, whatever. And we're sitting there, I was like, man, I gotta go to this Apple store. And this guy's like, hey man, it's on my way, I'll take you, right? And like, he was a cool guy. We're sitting there talking.
He took you to the grocery store?
And he's like, yeah, it's up here. And well, I got to go back to jail now, so I'll see you later. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, I'm in jail right now. I was like, wait. You know? I was like, you like broke out? He's like, no, we're like allowed to leave. Like it's a small island. Like where am I going to go? I just got to check in at night. I was like, yo, this is a crazy country. Like this guy was straight up in jail, like being like a tour guide. Took me to the Apple store. He was a cool guy.
Damn. Wow.
Is it true Greenland is
It's
actually
opposite, right?
ice
Yeah.
and Iceland is green?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know if the legend is true that it was like Vikings did that to trick people. They're like, we'll tell you that this one's green and that one's ice, then they'll leave us alone. They'll go to the green one and it's all icy, and we'll be like,
Gotcha.
like that's what I've been told.
That
I don't know
probably
if that's
worked
true,
like
though.
1,000 years ago.
You're just like,
That
"Oh,
probably
they
worked.
got
That's pretty
us."
good strategy back then.
Icelandic is the second oldest language in the world that's commonly spoken. The first is Arabic, because Arabic was preserved, so it's about 1,400 years of preservation. But Icelandic, they can read Norse tales and understand them. So it's roughly 900 years of like linguistic continuity.
Yeah, one of those countries has horrible food.
It's like,
I'm joking. No, but really, I wouldn't eat much over there. I remember I caught a connecting flight there, looking at the menus at all the different options, and it's like ice and fish. There's like
one time in the Frankfurt airport in Germany, there was a place called Chicago Style, and I was like, oh, nice. So I went.
I've been there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's the worst food. It was the worst food I ever had in my life.
Yeah.
I got a hot dogs. I was like, oh, maybe this is like, I don't know why I would think it would have like a legit hot dog, but it was like,
Came out like French bread or something.
it wasn't even, it was like nasty yellow bread. The hot dog was like pink. It was a mess. I took one bite and spit it back out. My dad was like, that was
disrespectful.
My dad was like, that was 18-year-olds. Why'd you spit that out?
18 years.
I was like, my bad, but this is disgusting. He tried it and he spit it right back out too.
That's
And I was
what we're
like,
known for, right? Chicago is known for pizza and hot dog, right?
Italian beef too.
Your pizza's
Jeez.
overrated.
Italian beef. Yeah, I agree. I don't think. I think
I lived in
we're-
Italy. I'm
we're-
spoiled, bro.
Oh wow.
Like I lived in
Yeah,
Italy,
the
and
real
I know
Neapolitan ice cream.
Big guy.
the best pizza maker in Tuscany. This guy it's just dope. It's like just next. It's like the black belt of pizza making. I
Is
come
it-
over here. These
what's
guys are
that type?
three stripe white belts.
Thin crust.
The type of pizza over there is what's that type?
Sicilian.
Neapolitan.
Is it Neapolitan? Something
Sicilian.
like that.
Sicilian.
There's something with an
There's
N.
many. Yeah, it's based on the style of Naples, but that's just one style.
But is that Neapolitan?
Is that the thin crust?
Yeah.
Where it's kind of like a
Yeah, the
flatbread.
thin one.
Oh,
Now, they also do that in Rome. They have
Where there's
really
like a
thin-
little mozzarella piece here, a little mozzarella piece here.
Yeah, that's just one
Like
style.
margarita pizza.
There's many different styles in Italy of pizza. Some
New
of the
York
best
is-
pizza
New
I
York
had was
has
in
the best.
Teramo. It's on like kind of the western coast of the upper part of the boot. And there was these big squares. It looked like Little Caesars, right? It was like big squares, and you'd like kind of describe how much of it you want. And you would cut out like a chunk and weigh it. So it was like pizza by the kilo. Super good.
That's
though.
awesome.
That's like Detroit style.
Yeah.
Right? It's large, the squares
Really?
panned. I just found that out.
Is that like,
I don't know Detroit has
like
that.
Jets
Oh,
pizza.
we were just in Detroit.
Jets pizza, yeah.
Deep dish is a mess, though. Like it tastes pretty good, but
Just
it's
the pie.
not really pizza.
It's a tomato pie.
It's like a delicious lasagna casserole or something. Like
Lasagna,
it can be pretty good. The problem I have is not the cheese. The problem I have is not the sauce. It's that crust is
The
too
crust?
oily.
Where you go?
That crust is too oily. I don't know. You tell me. I'm not.
Illuminati's.
I love that that's called Illuminati because it just sounds like some Freemasons weird stuff.
Illuminati.
Lou Malnati.
I know.
Oh.
It's Malnati, right? It has a G in
Malnati?
it.
It's like Paulie Malignani's
No,
family.
But it's funnier to say Illuminatis. Like I want to go to
Illuminati. That's
Illuminati
right. When I
pizza.
first heard it, I was like, they named something that?
Freemasons.
I know.
My
Illuminati
favorite
pizza.
was always, and this is like a,
Pizzagate.
it was,
You're gonna say something disgusting right now. I can see it.
yeah, it is,
Domino's.
it was Pizza Hut deep dish.
Yuck.
No, Pizza Hut pan pizza.
With stuffed
Horrible. The stuffed
Stuffed
crust. Oh,
crust,
that was
yo.
man. we were-
Pizza Hut
we were
back in the
13
day
years
was the
old. That
best.
was amazing.
Yeah, my family get Pizza Hut. Like,
Pizza
man,
Hut back in the day would rival Italy's.
Yeah,
Stuffed crust
Pizza
on
Hut. Yeah, it would. It would. It's just so greasy, and you feel guilty after eating it. But
Not when
man,
you're 11.
Yeah.
Yes, let me get
When you're
more.
11, like Costco pizza is the greatest thing ever.
Costco pizza is still
It's
amazing.
still not
Still
bad.
pretty good.
Because it's so cheap.
They,
$2
and
a
yeah,
big
you
slice.
gotta take the price into. You're like, well, it's $1, so.
You ever see like sometimes it just doesn't make sense, like a burger for like 50 cents. And the value of meat is not that cheap.
That's because it's not meat.
Yeah.
It's like rat, bro. You're eating like gopher or something.
Yeah,
you don't know.
that's,
Raccoon meat.
Yo, my dad ate raccoon when he was growing up.
Hell yeah.
They were like real woods people. They lived in the forest of California, and they were like forest mountain people, and they would just hunt, and they ate what they hunted.
Nice.
And once in a while, like they wanted deer, but if they didn't get deer,
They got raccoon.
they ate raccoon. Like it happened a couple times, and I was just like, Dad,
Did you ever
nasty."
try it?
No, this is like in the 60s or something.
Oh,
I don't know,
when-
like the
when they were
50s.
growing up.
Yeah, I did not eat raccoon. I'm talking about like something like that happened a long time ago.
Would you?
It's okay. This is
Would
a
I
safe
eat a
place.
raccoon? How hungry am I? Is it grass fed and organic?
It's grass
Or
fed,
is it
grass
like a-
finished.
Free
is it like a-
range. From McDonald's. Free range raccoon.
Yeah. Is it like a industrial raccoon?
Non-GMO.
It's got a name and everything.
Is it like a trash panda raccoon, or is it like
There's-
eating like is
there's
it like on
other
a vegan
kinds.
diet?
Free frolicking.
Those raccoons they'll stand their ground. They
Yeah.
will not back down.
Especially if they got food, yeah.
I had to fully stop on the road by my house because the two raccoons were just like, we're standing right here. I was like moving, inching closer, and they were like, we'll go
you know that
when we
movie,
want.
My Side of the Mountain?
No.
No.
It's a book and a movie about a guy. I don't remember the guy's name, but I'm pretty sure the raccoon's name was Gus. And he had a pet raccoon, and he goes out into the woods, and he lives. I think it's a true story turned into a book, turned into a movie. Pretty sure. And it's a pretty cool, like, 70s movie that would get like replayed on TV a lot, like once a year.
They got bowling alleys.
And like he burnt out the tree and it was all hollow inside, and he like turned it into a little house, and he lived in there with his raccoon for like a winter or two. without his parents' permission. Like, it's a pretty cool story. And my sister saw that and was like, that's awesome. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to have a pet raccoon like this guy. And we had a cat trap because we lived in the, you know, it's like real rural. And she caught a raccoon with the cat trap for the wild cats that we were supposed to like catch and like take them to the vet, neuter, and then like re-release them. So, but she took the raccoon and put it into her room. And she releases it and immediately realizes, like, this thing is not my new, like, it's not my new best friend. Yeah, she's thinking, like, here, it was like, oh, damn, like, there's a raccoon.
Rabies too.
So it's like, you know, closes the door and, like, runs downstairs, like, Pop, there's a raccoon in my room. Like, what? Like, how did it get there? You know, it doesn't say, like, I let it in. It just says, like, there's a raccoon in the room.
Yeah, when I was a kid, they found a way to get into our ceilings.
Oh,
So
there was one of my
crazy.
parents' roof, like inside of it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the worst.
And you
'cause
hear it.
I
and
woke
it's
up
like,
at 3 a.m, like scratches in my walls. I'm like, am I tripping out right now?
They're arguing.
They're plotting. They're talking about who gets what.
One day I saw them out. They left. They're in the backyard, and I was young, and still stupid, but you know, a little more mature, throwing firecrackers at them, like, ah, get out of here, you know.
You shouldn't do that to an animal that can get in your house.
Yeah, they were coming at me. They were not backing down. They were
They
coming
see you
like,
sleeping, like, oh, look, it's firecracker boy.
yeah, those are aggressive animals.
Crows are like that, but worse, because they're smarter.
And they can fly.
Like, I like crows, but they will remember your face forever if you do something bad to them.
Say that about pigeons too.
They will literally never forget your face. And then, this is the crazy part, they know how to teach their children, seriously, your face and like somehow communicate, like whether you're like a friend or foe. So like they will be like, if you do something to a crow, they'll be like, ah, to like their kid, and the cub like, ah, like, and then it'll be harassing you
Son,
too,
I need
right?
to tell you something.
Like, it's like,
You're of that age.
This is really important.
you see that guy down there, never trust him, attack him occasionally.
Enemy forever.
Can you imagine being in that situation where you got these, you know, what are those, the ones that are flying to pick at you once you're
Vultures.
vultures? Oh, wow. 'Cause those things are big too, right? And
I think if I was that messed up, I would just fake it and be like, I'm gonna eat you. I would be like, he'll get close eventually. I'd just be chilling, and as soon as he got close, I'd just wring his neck, snap it, eat it in front of his friends. I'd just take a bite, and they'd be like, oh, like,
I'm not the one.
yeah.
He's like, call an ambulance. But not for me.
we are such an interesting creation, right?
For sure.
We are not the most savage of the creation, you know, as far as like,
We can be.
We're the ones who just learned how to use tools.
yeah, we have, yeah, they can communicate, right? They can probably communicate a lot better than we can. Some of these animals, they can use not really.
I heard dolphins are like really like good at communicating with each other. Like,
Someone, I saw, so don't quote me on this, but someone said that like apes or chimps or one of those like primates
can use tools.
entered the Stone Age recently. Like have been recently seen to like build tools out of stone and use them for things. So hey, they're on their way.
They can use tools, other tools, right? Weren't they on a keyboard or something? Or
I just saw a picture today or a video today where this lady dropped her sunglasses into a zoo display with apes in it, and they picked them up and put the sunglasses on. They just knew what was going on.
and he's got 1 million subscribers now.
Him and Hasbullah.
Yeah, man, it's interesting. Yeah, if you enter into, like right now, we are at the top of the food chain as far as the animal kingdom, right? Like
100%.
because of the tools, right? We can shoot the lion,
Yeah.
but you go in the water, you're now in the middle or the bottom.
Kind of. I mean, we're unique. We are very unique.
Oh yeah, we'll take our submarine with us.
Yeah, no, but that's what. Okay, but like you take away our tools, we're naked. We die in a day. Like we're like not real animals. We're like something else. We are the unique species that's like we're on the
aliens.
precipice. We're right between. We can stare into the infinity of nothing from which we came, and we can stare into the other infinity of everything by whom we came. And we are that unique species that can contemplate our position in the macrocosm. The crow's just like looking for food. Like he doesn't know what's really going on. Like we're sitting here, not only like we can think about the fact that we're thinking about stuff. That is crazy. Like we can do metacognition.
So
we
lions,
can like a lion will have thought, but he doesn't like think like, that's a weird idea. Why do I think that? Like, we can think about thinking. This is insane. We're very special.
they have like a sharp bite. We have philosophy.
So is that consciousness?
We have jujitsu.
Consciousness is still kind of a mystery if you're going to ask the scientists. I think you have to ask cosmologists, philosophers, people who have, because they're talking about transcendent realities at that stage. You're not going to get consciousness with only materialist frames. You can try, but you'll fail.
We're over an hour.
Yeah, we'll be here talking all day. This is kind of what we do when the cameras are not on, and the hours they seem to pass pretty quick.
That went by fast for sure.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us. And
The real question is, can you tap out a gorilla?
We go from
No
tapping
chance.
out gorillas to foreign wanted criminals to aliens to
next
metaphysical
week's
consciousness.
to Saturday's drop.
Saturday.
Saturday, be here.
I
Opening
still
the
think
weight
I
room.
could beat a chimpanzee in a
If
fight.
you had like a lot of testosterone like injected,
That's some good content. If we
Like
if
a
we-
gorilla, no, but a chimp, I'll smash a
you know
chimp.
what's an interesting thought? Having like a gorillas bodybuilding
Yeah,
And you fade out as we're having
I said I'd smash a chimp, not you'd smash a chimp.
I'm just saying, you ever seen a
Jitsu
shit?
Club. Thank you. We'll see you on the mats. Hopefully,
Peace.
hopefully see you here this
don't forget,
Saturday,
August 7th. Yep.
August 7th, Saturday. Bring a friend. 10:30. We're gonna have a self-defense class. All our members are welcome to bring a friend. It'll be free for them, and we'll have a good time. We'll have some refreshments. We'll have a fitness class going on too. So keep an eye out on our schedule. Download the app. And again, thank you for all the support. And
check us out on social
Thank
media
you.
too. So keep an eye out for all the new videos dropping from the merch.
oh yeah, the protein poppy's got a
It'll be nice.
very nice release coming. Doug and George have putting their talents to use. So I'll let you see for yourself. Keep an eye out on the Instagram.
If you have questions, feel free to ask us in person, but also throw it in the comment section just to help us out. That's it.
Peace.
Peace.